Good morning, everybody out there in the YouTube world and people that are supposed to be in my class but did not make it today. Yeah, all right. Thank you. I have a late comer. So, what we are doing, this is actually math modeling, which is actually the math class for people that don't like math classes. Okay. And we're doing a slow algebra review before we get into our main thing here. If you hadn't done so, don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. We're out to 109 subscribers right now. Okay. The deal I had with students last semester is we get to 200, I will let people paint my fingernails and we will put it on the YouTube, like record it. 500 was makeup. 1,000 was a mohawk with blue dyed hair. So, gotta tell your friends, tell your enemies. I don't care. Okay. All right. So let's make sure our name is on here. Okay. So this is what was funny. I love teaching this stuff to teenagers, especially solving equations, because to solve an equation, you have to do the opposite of what's being done. So it's like you've been told something and you do the opposite. And that's not like teenagers at all. Teenagers exactly do what they're told. I mean, I don't ever remember doing anything opposite of what any adult told me when I was younger. Okay. Not everybody's awake for this gold. All right, so we should have subtracted 7. M equals 8. Add 3. We get -7. Oh, not bad. I only did half of that. That's why I got that one wrong. It's almost like I'm human or something. Okay. 2 to 2. Add 9. 20 equals x. Divide by -3. Y equals 21. Okay. And this is multiplied by 8. So this is x equals -32. At 5, we get 17 equals y. All right. Hopefully everybody got that or got all 6 of those, or hopefully at least 5 of them. Okay. Some of y'all are like, yeah, it's been a hot minute. Okay. I think there's only one student I have this semester that is actually had math last semester. Everybody else, it's been a year or two. Okay. Calendar year, not school year. All right. So this stuff right here. Now, I know some of y'all are like, yes, he said we were going to start doing math today. Why are we doing this? There's a reason. Okay. I promise. There's stuff. There's what we're doing. Okay. All right. So right here, we got to subtract 8 first. 6x equals, what is that, 42? Divide by 6, divide by 6. We get x equals 7. Add 5. 2x equals -6. 2x equals -3. And then -9, -9. 4 equals -4x divided by -4. Okay, so that's what we should have had for these. Now, remember, if you can, last Wednesday, if you were actually in here at that time or awake at that time, I know some people may not be able to remember. It's been a weekend. Some of y'all have a chemical romance that messes with your memory. So think about what. Okay. Anyways, so um, all problems in the real world are word problems. Okay, but they're not set up like this. Okay, trust me. I have tried for 17 years to try to figure out the best way to have word problems, real life situations for students. Every time I try to look online or something, it's always something like, if Sarah buys 5 watermelons and Billy has 28 watermelons, how many watermelons do they have together? Okay. Nobody needs that many watermelons. Okay. All right. So, couple things. Now, we'll actually do these word problems 2 different ways. We will do them just traditional, define the variable, set up the equation, solve it. And then some of these you probably would not have to actually do that. You could probably go to, and I'll show you where in the step in the math, and go right to the answer, and that's fine. But believe it or not, you're actually doing part of this process in your mind anyways. All right. El Rodeo School has this many students, and they have this many more than Hawthorne. How many people are at Hawthorne? Okay. Now, X represents Hawthorne students. Okay. Your equation. Let's see. This plus this equals this. Okay. This is actually probably one of those, if you read it, you're like, and I know, and I've probably done it to some of y'all in the past. If I had you, especially in Algebra 1, where I gave you a very simple situation like this, and I said, no, you have to write the equation. Okay. That's just, I, I was confined by the standards at that time. These standards a little bit more loose and free. Okay. All you have to do is just add these together. Wait, I have this set up wrong. How many of y'all saw that? Okay. These are in the wrong spot. Nobody caught me. Y'all are just going to sit there and let me just be wronged all over the interwebs. Have people leaving nasty comments. This math teacher doesn't know what he's doing. All right. So, what is 837 minus 78? Well, that is 759. Okay. Now, in this situation, if we're all talking about the same thing, okay, we're talking about how many students are there at Hawthorne School and all this kind of stuff. You really shouldn't have to say there are 759 students. Everybody should know the context. Okay. It's kind of like when teachers, and again, I was guilty of this before. Spat my hand. Where we would say you have to say like X equals this, and you have to like get 759 what, and all that kind of stuff. If you're in a real life situation, okay, nobody wants that many. Okay, there's very few times. I'm not saying that there's never a time, but there's very few times. If everybody's on the same, wavelength in a meeting or something or a situation, y'all should know. Okay. Only time that you really need to be specific with units and names and stuff would probably be if you're in one of those situations like they show on TV in an ER or an emergency situation, and they're given so much medicine and stuff, and all that is just made up. By the way, they don't have a script that actually is real. They're like, give me 800 cc's of Tylenol or whatever to save this person. It's just whatever. But that is actually one of those real life situations where you would need that. All right. At Costco, 32 cans of Coke cost this. How much per can? Now, Believe it or not, at one point in time, this actually used to be really important, but it's not now. Okay? You can go to the Walmart, you can go to the Publix, probably the Kroger, whatever, wherever you get your groceries, and it will actually say this is the price. It will say like price per unit or per ounce or whatever. They do it for us now. This is cost per can. I can't talk. That's okay. Like I only got like 3 people paying attention. Okay, now we should get a very small number. We should get a very small decimal because we are actually dividing something small already by something fairly large. Okay, though with things that is today with 2023 in January, it would probably be the other way around because things cost more. I remember back in my day, it used to cost a nickel. Okay, now they cost 28 cents per can. Again, didn't have to know all that information. Okay. Now, also, the main reason I'm doing this, how many word problems are on the ACT? I know the first 10 problems are usually Algebra 1 problems, and they're most all of them are word problems. Okay. So if we can look at some of these basic word problems and pick the guts out of it for what we need for the ACT, we should be prepared. All right. This is actually a good one. Some of y'all may need this one day. A lawyer charges $100 per month to be on retainer for a client. That means that if they need them, they call them. Okay. All right. Lawyer also charges an hourly rate of $75 for work done. How many hours does the lawyer have to work for a client to charge this much? Okay. So this would be X would be our hours. Okay, we know they get $100 plus 75 of our X, and we want to see what it is for this. Now, this problem right here actually, I just can't talk. And some of y'all will be like, yes, we like it when you don't talk. I know. But this is actually something similar to what we're going to do for tomorrow. What we're going to be doing tomorrow is setting up inequalities so we can do some budgeting type things. Okay. Now, again, to solve this. Now, and I know some of y'all may be like me. They're like, you would have already subtracted that $100 in your head. I would have only set up an equation like this. Okay, that's just me. Because I know I'm going to have to end up dividing right here. So 525 divided by 75. Okay, so this says 1.96. And believe it or not, in certain instances, I know with lawyers, they may actually round one way or the other. I did do that right, didn't I? Nope, I didn't. What did I do? 525 divided by 75. Well, you know what? It's definitely a Monday. I can't talk. My big fat fingers are hitting the wrong numbers on the calculator. Up is down. Dogs and cats living together. Just just a weird day. All right. Now, I do know lawyers that they actually like will put a timer on stuff and to prove or whatever their billable hours. Okay. It's not like they are sitting there tracking their package on Amazon when it's going to get to their house or their office or whatever, and they're having somebody else pay for that. No, they actually allot certain times. Okay. All right. Cost of renting a jet ski. Whoop, whoop, is this per day plus this hour use. How many hours to cost this? Okay. So we want to know the hours again. We have 40. This is our constant. This is why we actually had that basic skills thing the other day. Plus 50, this 390. Okay, minus 40, minus 40. 50x equals. Uh-oh, I might actually be able to do this math in my head. I'm going to double check though. I'm not the world's best person to do math in their head. You would think I would be good at that with a head this big, but no. All right, so 7 hours. Okay, now, to me, that sounds like a good deal, personally. Has anybody ever been on a cruise? No, 2 people. Okay. Not talking like the Titanic, but like, the cruise. And you can actually do these little, when you come into port, you can do these different outings and stuff. And it's actually prepackaged. Somebody's actually figured that stuff out. Okay. Now, yes, I didn't get very creative with some of these numbers, but for these problems. All right. After withdrawal of $1,234, you have, what a day. You have $5,678. What was the original balance? Okay. Now, on this, it depends on how you're wired. Okay. Some people have to actually set up the equation. They have to set it up. They have to see it for it to make them make sense. That's absolutely okay. Just like I can't do math in my head, I'm going to use the calculator. It's all okay. Okay. But personally, I would not need to do this. And the reason why is because I would just add these two things together. Okay. And here's the thing, this is like, now, this is, you know, ACT. They only want the answer and they only give you credit for the correct answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, again, this is probably one of those problems you wouldn't have to set it up. Some people may. All right. You and 4 friends go to Johnny Rockets. Apparently, Johnny Rockets is like a Crystals, a Whataburger, a White Castle. I don't know. We had a teacher that was from Illinois that gave us this one. This is Alabama. I don't know what a Johnny Rockets is. I'm sorry. I don't travel that much because I'm a teacher and I'm kind of poor. All right. So if you split the bill equally, it was this much money. Now, if you didn't have to set this up, you would automatically, with your calculator in your phone, because now we have calculators around us everywhere as long as we have a cell phone, you're actually doing the step to get the answer if you were to set it up like this. Okay, you're actually doing this step right here. So you technically are doing the equation, but you're doing it in a, oh, I'm not going to get counted off if I don't write this down type thing. All right, so I got 16.99. Okay, though for 5 people and an $85 bill, that seems kind of expensive. That's just me. Okay, took my wife on a date night Saturday. Yeah, now 2 of us. Yeah, it was about that though with the tip. Food was good though. We'll talk about that when I'm not recording. Okay. A membership at Healthy U Gym is $40 for initial fee, $5 a visit, if Sanjay's bill was this, how many times did he visit the gym? Okay, this is similar to the one that we did previously where I couldn't do the math correctly. All right. So we probably would do this first in our head and then bless you and divide everything by 5. Again, if we were to actually write down the equation, it's the same thing. Minus 40 divided by 5. Okay. They went 13 times. Now, believe it or not, that's actually how some of this stuff used to happen. Okay. Pre 2007, when texting was a chore with a flip phone, okay, text messages actually used to cost 25 cents per message. You would get 250 usually free. Now that's sending and receiving. So that's 125 messages in a conversation. Okay. If you think that today when somebody sends you a paragraph and you respond K, that's almost as mad as when people would do it because they would respond with a K. And that would cost you a quarter for that. Sorry. Might have been an issue for me in the past. You never know. All right. Tiara read this much of this much. She reads 20 pages per day. How many pages, how many days it take us to finish? Well, again, this would be very similar. So it's this many pages. She's already done this. All right. And then she's going to read it 20 pages per day. By 20. Oh, it's going to take her 9 days. Again, you know, I said 9 days. It could have been just 9 because we were talking about days that stuff was going to happen. Okay. And oh, that's it. Okay. So, yes, word problems. We'll do some more tomorrow. And then y'all will actually start to have your first project. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome time. All right. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. Leave a nice comment. You know who I'm talking to. Good stuff, good things. Roll Tide.